Day 2, the quest continues, and we're back at 3D Palace again, working on this fun Dreadnought. Woohoo! Okay, so, first problem is, inside it be hollow, so we're going to have to sort that out. So I'm just going to check everything's recording properly. Yep, seems to be, and I'm going to get on with work. Okay, now the first thing we've got is a bit of a thin issue going on at the bottom here, which I want to resolve as fast as possible. So I'm going to go over here and see, I want to hide this piece. Right, now we can see the kind of gears going on here. Now what I want to do is select this piece and select by element, press F4, and I'm going to select the two elements here that make up the bottom of this actually. Just drag them out, go into objects. Okay, now I can just bring that straight out. And I'm going to have to effect pivot and center to the entire object, like so. Now, angle snap on, do 180 degrees. And then I'm going to do 90 degrees. And I'm going to kind of plop it into the right position, more or less. We need a little bit of editing to get it in the right kind of, so. Grab that and just pull it out. As we can see, it's a little bit high, so put it down again. There we go. Alright, now, where's the front? There it is, good. So I'm going to go to the front viewport and zoom in on this. Remember, this is all on the fly. I haven't actually planned any of this out. Okay, and detach that as side piston pivot. Just so I know what it is really. Otherwise I'm not going to have a flipping clue. Alright, and effect pivot only. Press F4 and let's get zooming in a bit. You can see where I want it to be centered. And let's see, I want to rotate that 90 degrees as well. That way, if I just use my drawing tool, that way it comes up instead of that way for that piece. Alright, turn off effect pivot only. Back in perspective. And just kind of checking this piece out a bit. Okay, I can see how this is going to work now. I'll just scratch my chin. And I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to turn off angle snap so I can do some fine tuning. There we are. That gives us that piece there. Now, need another one of these. Oh dear, hang on. I appear to have not copied it, I appear to have just moved it. Let's do that again. better. And I'm going to have to set this up already as a kind of look-at controller, so that our pistons will work straight away for this piece, because this is one of the ones where the pistons actually have to work straight away. So, sort of checking that out. And again, I'm just going to drag this one out, turn it around by about 180 degrees for the moment, so I'll turn on angle snap. And go with this viewport here. Nope, sorry, front viewport. Just to kind of line these up. There we go, like that. Now, pardon me, perspective, zoom, and there it is there, you see. So now we need to kind of fill this with, what do you call it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these two pieces here together first. There we are. And then leave these two pieces here loose so they can rotate on a single axis. Now I need to build a piston between them. So first things first, I'm going to build a cylinder. And you've got to decide which one's going to be the top and which one's going to be the bottom, incidentally. There we go, convert to edible poly. And let's bring that in. Then we can do a bevel on it. Yes, thank you, antivirus program. Okay, so that's our first one done. And I can set up the lookout controller for that already. So, oops, turn that off. Kind of line this up a bit. And when I do an attach to there, that means that now, if I rotate that, that rotates too. Now I'm going to take this piece here, and I want to assign a lookout controller. So rotation, lookout constraint, add lookout target, it's going to be that one. Now then, as we see, it's looking at it in a strange manner. Is it looking at the right object, we ask ourselves? Yes it is, it's just confused. Select our lookout axis, and I'm going to need to adjust the pivot point for it. Until it looks in the right direction, I think. It's always fun doing this bit. Trying to work out exactly why we're looking in the right direction. Oops, wrong one. There we go. That should do it. Now what this means is that if I move this now, what the hell's happened there? Not that one. Oh. Right, so anyway, if I move this, it should technically move that as well, like so. See? The only problem we've got is that should be 90 degrees the other way. Let's move this on the local. Size heavily. Effect pivot only. There we are, 90 degrees. Right, now we can see that it's starting to work. See? I love it when I do that. It's a cool little thing. Okay, now let's finish it up with another piston over the head here on this side. So, I'm going to create one that's small enough to go inside the big one, so I need a cylinder. There we go, bevel, and you can probably hear the 3D Palace children shouting in the background. Oh, the joy of children's laughter. And bring that out. Just want to kind of try and get our piston base together. There we go. Not particularly interested in the end, because if you can see this end, it means it's broken. Now, link it. There we go. And just going to check my pivot on this. Check my pivot on this. Okay, there must be a reason why my pivot's all the way over there. Where's my pivot go? Let's go some resetting the X form, is it? Sometimes it can be a pain in the bottom. I think what I'll have to do is just wipe this one off, delete my lookout target completely, select these two and just break them once I've moved them in the right position, of course. Let's do the rotation script. Euler. There we are. Top, zoom, angle snap, straighten this mess out. Sometimes CD Studio Max will soil its virtual pants. Okay, now bring that over to about there, back in perspective. There we go, bring that down. Good old repair work. How much fun is this? Oh, we love it. Okay, and back into perspective. Now, as you see at the bottom here, this one isn't too deranged and damaged, whereas the top one is, of course. So we should be able to reset the X forms. Boing, and there they go. And repair the massive amount of damage that's just been done to these. I mean, why is that up there? Look at that. I swear, it makes no damn sense sometimes. Right, flip this over. right one actually. I'm sure by now you can see what an amazing pain in the arse it is to do this. If you think to yourself, God, why did I bother? I wish I'd gone and watched a really simple tutorial instead. While I'm making cheese or, being nice to old ladies. Or maybe one of those fantastic Pedro del Toro tutorials. They're friendly. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to zoom out in my old perspective thing here and start lining these up so they're in the right orientation. Now, I think what I'll do is I'll just start attaching these parts together, because I can. There we go. Right, now what I need to do is have this lookout constraint look at that one. So, oops, I've attached them together. I'm going to take this one and go to my rotation, set a rotation parameter of a lookout constraint at a lookout target. It's going to be that. Now as you see, it is off, so I want to adjust it. Until it's pointing in the right direction. Like so. Now I want to take this one and more or less do the same. I apologise about my sniffy nose, by the way. So I want to get my lookout constraint, add my lookout target. Now it won't let me add this, it'll let me add this but not that. Okay? So what I've got to do is build a dummy that's in the right position and that's linked incidentally. So perspective. Now what I'll have to do is link it to this, not to that, otherwise it won't let me. So I want to get a dummy and I'm going to build it about here. Okay, now I'm going to take my dummy and I'm going to move it to the middle here. Okay, back into perspective, and that's my first look at dummy. I'm going to put a 1 above it. There'll be another 3 of course. Zoom out, now zoom in. Now if I go over here, back to our look at, I can add this dummy as a look at target, and then wonder why that's all the way over there. I better check the pivot on this because it's being a git. Okay, my pivot is all the way over there. One has to wonder sometimes at the miracle that is 3D Studio Max. This would explain why that was in fact pointing in the wrong direction completely. Now I must adjust this pivot. Using the magical power of rotation. There we are. Now this one. And I think I'll need to flip that, and then it'll be looking more or less in the right direction. And I'd like to also bring that down just a tiny bit. Oops, doesn't work like that of course. Got to do it in the effects pivot only. There we are, perspective. Now of course you may be wondering why I've gone to all that length. Hang on a second. So, as an example, let's just say turn off effect pivot only, but I link that to that. Now I link that to, I don't know, I'll have to break that piece off as well, I can think of it. Use my select tool, detach, top side piston joint toe. Top side piston joint toe. There we are. And this is toe side piston joint. Now, technically, if I do this and then go to my viewport and affect the pivot on this toe, which should be floating around in orbit somewhere probably. There we go. So line that up like so. Pull back. Turn off effect pivot only. Now, obviously this part's not going to move because it's not linked in, so I think I'll just quickly link it. There we go. And just do a quick thing to show you. There you go. Well, as long as we keep the movement down to pretty much a minimum, you can see how that works. Nice, isn't it? Alright, now, back in the distractive shot, we need to copy that a number of times, and when we do, it's going to not work, and we'll have to reset it up again. So, take this block here, top viewport, zoom out. And the first thing we need to do is do a mirror of it. Click OK, and I'm just going to bring it over to here. And put it about there. There we go. Perspective, zoom, and I want to fix it pretty much immediately. Oh, hang on. I think, yes. Yeah, it has. It's copied it along the wrong axis, so that's my bad. That's the axis we need to copy it across, of course. Just as messy, but, you know. There we are. Now, gosh, my nose is a bit itchy. I'm going to take side piston pivot 1, and I'm going to sneeze. Yeah. Delete lookout target, add lookout target. It's going to be that one. And if I just turn off flip now, it'll look in the right direction. Now, turn that off. This one. Let's pop it back in here again. Press F3. And out again. Now, I'm going to affect my pivot. After I've affected the lookout, of course. There we are. Just to make sure it's got the right one, obviously. Right, now I just need to get them lined up a bit better. There we go. And I'm going to just adjust my microphone. It might be a moment. There we go. That's a little bit better. Right, now I can just check how well that's that's working just by doing this. Whoosh. Perfect. Okay, back to perspective shots. 3. Now, I'm going to grab these. There. And there. Go to my top viewport. And I want to make a copy, so I'm going to spin this around. Now I'm going to cancel that because I didn't have angle snap on. There we go. Now back in perspective. And a little bit of repair work needs to be done over here because they're not quite in the right position. There we go. Okay, now as you see, this one is kind of off quite substantially. Whereas that one isn't. Hurrah! Let's try that. Yep, one's pointing in the right direction. So, something tells me I didn't copy the dummy correctly for that one. In my top viewport? No, I didn't. Unlucky me. Okay, dummy 1 and 2. There we go. It's back in the perspective. Now we can find the wonkety ones, which are here. And add a new lookout target. And then over here. Oops, wrong one. Delete the lookout target and add a new one. Oh, huzzah. Works rather nicely, doesn't it? Okay, just need to adjust this a little bit. There we are. Pull back. Now, I want to kind of rig this a little bit. Not a lot, just enough that I can remember for a start. So, first things first. Connect all these together. Next, I'm going to attach this to there. Like so. Spin it round. Next, the dummies, very important. Put back a bit. Just going to make sure we get our dummies correct, and I've got to fix that one because it's not lined up properly. Okay, pull back. Now you see there's a couple of these that aren't lined up, so just use my select tool. Zoom in on it. And I can just repair this. Select pivot only, and just bring that down. There we go, until it looks in the right direction. Okay, now this one. Okay, let's check them all out. That one seems like it could do with a tiny bit of adjustment. It's just so they're kind of facing in the right direction as much as anything, so there we are. Done. So these are all kind of linked now to this piece over here, so when it moves, they'll all move, yeah? I mean, that's pretty damn funky, isn't it? I love that. Okay, next, might as well rig these up. First of all, though, if we go into our front viewport, we need to kind of get everything lined up properly. I'm just going to hide the front toe. Sorry, the front marker. Okay, now, before we do anything, I just want to unlink anything at the bottom here. So I'm going to do that, and then break the link. Okay, now all those are unlinked, hopefully. I can start doing some kind of chase up and repair. 1, 2. So both those need fixing, because they're not in the right place, incidentally. Let's see. Press F3, and I can just start lining them up again. That's 1. And here's another one. I do, as I say, apologise for my incredibly snuffly nose. Right, now I'm going to attach that pin to this, and over here as well. Now, if we attach all these things together, it's not going to work anymore, by the way, so be very careful what you do from this point. Okay. Oh, and these things don't need attaching to anything, so they're not going to do anything. Now, that's the front, so let's go to the left viewport and also line those ones up. Because you see, it's the same over here. So I'll just bring those up to there, and go on back here. There we are. To there. Okay, bring it back. Press F3. Oh, I wish this blooming thing would go. I think I've got a cold, you know. Attach. There we are. I'm not putting any constraints or axis constraints or anything on this. Frankly, I can't be bothered about anything at the minute. Right, now I'm going to reset the pivots. Set the pivot only. And you can see where the centre of this pivot goes. I know I can use the align tool, I just don't want to particularly. There we are, grab that one. Nearly done. Move it along to about there. Right, so now we're back over here again. And put that one about there. Pull back. And that one about there. Okay, turn off fit pivot only. And I want to press F3, and I want to attach that, and then attach that. There we go. Now, front viewport, I'm going to do it again. Oh, my snuffly bits. That's one. And over here, another one. You can hear my boys shouting in the background. This is what happens when you say to the kids, "Kids, be quiet, I want to do some work today." And they go, "Of course we'll be quiet, Dad. We respect you and what you have to say." Gee, thanks, kids. Okay, now over this side. Now I'm going to select this piece. Now I'm going to affect the pivot over here. while my young baby son appears to have an argument with his brother. And up to there. Alright, we're just about ready to start linking stuff together, so that's going to be cool. And a bit fun. And a little bit disco. Woohoo, disco. Attach that to there. Hey, how you doing? Okay, pull back. Snapping out of perspective and zoom out. We want pretty much everything to be linked to this piece here. Okay? So, selecting the link. That to there. That to there. The idea being, of course, that when we move the middle foot piece there, everything else should just move with it. Just going to attach these little pieces to there. There we are. Now, this piece here, which all these are connected to, is going to link down to there. Then we have these pieces. Okay, let's check our hierarchy list. There we go, and everything is now linked to our foot hub, number 1. Meaning that I should be able to do this and it will work. You've got to love that, haven't you? That is really cool. And of course we can turn the toes. Something that you definitely couldn't do with the old one. Don't want to twist it. I mean, you can, but of course it's not really set up to be twisting. It's more like that. See? Cool. Happy, happy, happy. Alright. So we've got the first batch of big pistons in. And that's right, I did just say the first batch. So hide, unhide all. Now we've got this piece here. So if I go into my left hand viewport, turn off grid, select it and go to FFD. Okay, and we're going to affect the control points. It's just a 3x3. Now you see that piece in there, we don't want that to be affected. So I'm just going to quickly cancel out of this. Just select this piece and sneeze a bit. Sneeze. Of course it's all just one bloody piece now, isn't it? Okay, so size heavily. There we go, select like that, and now put in the FFD. There we go. And as you can see, we've got slightly better movement around there. Now what we've got to do is build a kind of piston connection that attaches to these bits on the outside. Now, how to do that? It isn't as difficult as it sounds. So what I'm going to do is deselect this piece and make sure all the rest of these bits here are selected and hide unselected. Oops, hide. Actually I'll just isolate. It's easier. Now, what I've got to do is going to build on top of this another big set of funky piston things, okay? If you don't understand what I mean, don't worry, you will in a minute. Now, what I'm going to do is go over here and make a cylinder. Like so. There we are. Okay, that looks okay. And right click, convert to editable poly. That's a 3. Get rid of these two sides here for the moment. And I'm going to zoom in on it a bit. I want to get rid of some of the bits we're not using yet. And just kind of line this up a bit. There we are. Oops. Now I'm going to rotate this. Like so. Bang perspective and zoom. 3F4. Just make sure we've got it okay. Until we have. Now I want to create a polygon. Getting all the way down here. There we are. And I'm going to expand that up. So I'm just going to use the extrude. Maybe a bit more. Okay, next. Put it there and there. I'm just going to use all the way round. There we go. Click OK. And again. Now, I'm going to pull this out a little bit and you'll see we get that nice effect there. Top viewport zoom. And I'm going to make a copy of this now. The y-axis and just move it into the place that I wanted. Just about there. Perspective zoom. There we go. Now I'm going to attach these two parts together. And then making sure those two are done, I'm just going to bridge. There we go, we've got this nice piece here. Now, making sure it's in local. It's a lot easier to do this when it's in local. I do that. And then I do that. There we go, and that gives this kind of heavy duty look to it. Now it's time to fill in some holes. There we are. And we've got yon big thing here. Okay, now what we want to do with this is slightly more complicated than what we did with the last one. So, top viewport. I'm going to affect my pivot only. Bring that to the middle here. Perspective zoom again. And cylinders. Start off with just one. Try and get it going in the right direction. There we are. Now I'm going to make a copy of it. Kind of line it up in the front if I can. There we are. Okay, now I'm going to attach these. So let's see, attach that one and that one. And these can become our double pistons. For extra strength. There we go. I'll just expand those a little bit more actually. So they kind of cross over each other properly like so. And then back in. I don't know if you actually watched the Ultimax tutorial or not, you see, but a lot of that was about, you know, making something highly improbable work. It doesn't have to work properly, but it has to work convincingly enough, if you know what I mean. So, okay. That's good. Delete. Okay. I'm going to have to do a bit better than that in order to delete them. Try again. Make sure the select tool's on. I'm going to white this part out completely. Or as completely as we can anyway. There's only one piece left in there now. Delete that. And what looks like two pieces in that one. Deleted. Deleted. Now down this end, a little bit of deletion. Ignore back facing. Go back. Alright. Now, time for that fun bit of work we call putting it back together again. Okay, nearly done. Need to line up the bottom if it's not already lined up. Not quite right over here. Let's fix that. I know it seems pointless for what amounts to an object that hardly anyone's ever going to see, but you know, these things do matter. Haven't quite got rid of enough on that side, you see. Okay, let's try again. Slightly better. Except down there, I don't think it's quite lining up properly. Make up to that one. There we go. Now let's try it. Not bad, albeit there's a twist in there now. So I think I'll bring that one back. There. Okay, now zoom out. You can see we've got our big double piston piece here. And what I want to do is take that and that and just move them out. Go to the base for me. If I select those, just by turning that off. Effect pivot only, send it to the object, turn that off. There we go. So they're out of the way now. Over here. There we go. Bit too sharp, really. I think I'll do it the old-fashioned beveling way. There we go. That'll work better. And over here, of course, select these. And cap them on both sides. That way I can extend these pistons out of virtually nowhere. There we go. Done. Okay, next, exit isolation mode. And there is our current objects. Now I'm just going to link these together temporarily, just so I can rotate it to about there. Now I think what I'd like to do is just expand that up just a little bit, so I'm going to go into the viewport here. Now what I mean by that is I'll select everything except this piece, and then I can, in my view, I've got ignore back facing on, silly me, do it again. I want to select everything except that little curve there, and then I can just pull it up and keep it lined up like that. There we go. Now if we go to my perspective, you'll see why I've done this. I can now angle this up slightly more than I was able to beforehand. See? Without actually being affected by that. Now, up here then, I'm just going to use my move tool on the local. Okay, and you can see that's where those are going to attach. Okay, now let's go and look at these lovely little things here. And what I want to do is kind of build a block over the top of them if I can. So I'm going to build a box like so. Now I can adjust that box so it's there. And then if I go to my F3, right click, convert to editable poly. Select that one, hinge from edge. Pick my hinge. There we go. Like so. And I want to bring that up. Oops. I want to bring that up. View. Reason being, of course, it's no use at the moment to me. Now, select there and there. And I'm going to do a connect times 2. Now I'm going to select this one and this one and do another connect times 1. Delete off these bottom ones. Hinge from edge. I'm going to pick my hinge carefully. 180 12 segments. And then Control A and weld. Okay, now with this piece actually in place, I just need to build another piece that kind of goes inside it. So, get a cylinder, I'm just going to pull it out from about here. I'm going to bring it out until it comes to about there, you'll just see it. There we go. Right click, convert to editable poly. 1, 2. And quick extrude. 4, 5. Another extrude outwards and then flatten it. And extrude it again. And then just bridge. Okay. I'm going to hide this case off now because I don't need it. Hide selection. There we go, and move that up using the angle snap until it's in the right position. Okay, now I want to take these two pieces here and here and use my local just to squint them down. 3. And now I can bevel them. There we go. So you can see pretty much, I think, how this is going to work. I'll add a little bit more detail to this, but I'm not going to add very much, because you're not really going to see it very often unless you're at very specific angles. There we go. And this one, of course, also needs pinning. So I'm just going to pull this back here and have a look at what we're doing. Because like I said, pinning. Just want to slap a cylinder on the side there. I don't actually want to do very much else. So it just adds a little bit of definition to our model. Okay, now over here, quick attach job. There we go. And of course need to set up another dummy. So I've got to decide exactly where the dummy is going to go. This isn't going to be particularly easy either. So I think I'm not in isolation mode at the moment, so I'm going to go into isolation mode. Isolate. There we go. And let's find a dummy. Oops. There we are. Just leave it out there. I'm going to name it straight away. And this is the lower leg armor dummy 1. Okay, now I'm going to make sure everything here has had its X-forms reset. See what a difference that makes? Bloody ridiculous, isn't it? Actually, before, oh, too late now. All these things should be reset. Yeah, they are. Now I've got to kind of line them up again, rather irritatingly. Angle snap, 90 degrees. Just need to get this kind of lined up over here. Looks like about 45 degrees or so down. Perspective shot. Oops, wrong way. Get these kind of lined up as best as I can, really. You notice I'm not chamfering everything. That's mainly just to save time, because we'll be here for quite a while otherwise. There we are. And I'll just make sure everything, except the dummy obviously, is converted to edible poly. Alright, now, what I want to do is rotation, look at constraint. Now before I do anything, let's just check this is right, and it is. Good, thank goodness. Add look at target. Now it's looking at the right place, it's just not looking in the right direction, as you can see. One has to wonder why exactly. So what I'm going to do is just use my effect pivot again, just to kind of line that up. There we go. Next, this one here is going to look at our little dummy. So we want the look at. Oh, that's the wrong one. Rotation should be look at. Assign the look at target. It's going to be that dummy there. And as you see, it's kind of swaying off and doing mad things that it shouldn't be doing. At all. I have to take that off for the moment. Just check that X form. Oops. Right. Top viewport zoom. It's not central. That explains it. So, set pivot only. There we are. Back into our proper viewport again. There we go, and you can see it's now looking in the right direction anyway. Oops. I'll just affect our pivot. There we go, and effect pivot off. Now of course what this means is, if we just use this as an example, that's not going to work on that one, we'll do it on this one now. Alright, oh, it's looking at that one, isn't it? So if I move that to there, what if I wasn't working? I was just being stupid. See? See? And we need to attach the thing down here as well. So now if we go over here and move this about, it'll move correctly. See? Alright, starting to get somewhere. Exit isolation mode. Perspective zoom. You can see now how hideously complicated this object's getting, by the way. So next I'm going to copy all our bits and make sure I copy on the correct axis as well. Gee, this will be a good one to copy, I can tell already. I'll just use it in the top and rotate it, I think, it'll be easier, because it's still going to bugger up. Actually, before I do that, angle snap, there we are. Click OK. Now I'll just move it over here. Perspective zoom, F3. And, oh, it works perfectly. Would you look at that? Yes! Whoa, etc. Top. Now we'll do it again. 90 degrees. Okay. Oh, of course, they adjusted 3D Studio Max since the last time I've done this. And the new version doesn't bugger up as much. My God, well done, Discreet. Need to move it into position a bit. Okay, top viewport. And again, 90 degrees, and when I let go, it'll just push itself into the right position. Let's line it up. Thank God they've actually made rigging up these little pistons easy. God bless you, Kinetics Discrete Entertainment Media Division thingy. Okay, now these should all be linked, so go to our link tool and oops, wrong one. There we are. Now, hide all, and now what I want to do here, because this part's actually visible, amusingly, is turn that off for the moment. I'll go over here. And I'm going to extrude these out, just until they kind of go there, like so. Don't want to move on the local, I'll move on the view. And click grow, and mesh smooth. Doesn't work particularly well. Okay. Trying to find a way really of just getting these to link in. Delete that one and that one. we go. And press F4, F3. Okay, so that's actually fitted together rather nicely, ironically. So that then attaches to there. Now there's no actual reason for this to move around whatsoever, but if it does choose to, it now can. And its pistons will actually, you know, just the middle ones won't. So it's a bit pointless. Alright, now this bottom piece here really needs to be kind of grown out a bit. There we go. There we go. Perspective zoom out. So you can see now all the amazing joins and funky things we've got under here. Yay! We like funky things. I don't need to know where the front of the foot is now because I think I can guess. And the good thing is that I can now tilt my foot so that I don't muck about so much. See? Haven't connected this piece actually, so just need to do that. Now in theory I should be able to just take this piece. Yes, there she goes, look at that. Angle snap F4. Oops, wrong one. There. See? I just love the way that it does that. Just holds itself together really nicely. Now, time to do a little bit of decorating work. So, hide unselected, and that leaves us this part of the leg here, which is our very basic leg piece. And I'm going to create a standard box, which I'm going to use as a kind of palette, as you will. Now, on this, I'm going to create a sphere of about such a size. Zoom in on it. I'm going to make it 18 segments. And I want to press F4 so that I can see it properly. And the hemisphere by 0.5, like so. Right, now I don't need that. And I just want to see if that's big enough. I don't think it is quite, so I want to make it a little bit bigger. Say about there. There we are. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go run a Max script. So run, and the one I want is one of your example scripts. Now I've actually got mine loaded up on my old Max 6 directory, so it's c:/3ds Max 6 scripts examples, and it's the placement tool. It's actually for placing hair, but I use it for placing detail too. Now, this is already selected, so I'm going to select a source. Then I'm going to pick my distribution object, and then I just click place, and it'll let me place these wherever I want, which is useful. So, just trying to make sure I get them kind of lined up correctly. 1, 2. What I'm doing is I'm kind of clicking and dragging just to make sure it's lined up properly. You notice I put 2 in there. Oops, just try and get them to look right. Okay, now at the top here. line these up as best as I can. If they don't seem to be lined up properly, just do them again. The only thing you can do, just Control Z, do them again. Press F4, we can now see what it looks like. Studler. Oh yeah. If you want to, you can add some extra studs on the inside too. If you're going to do that, it's best to kind of line them up. There we are. Oh yeah. There we are. Now I'm going to take that off. And then close this. Click attach and go all the way down and click attach. There we go. Okay. And now if we just do an unhide all, you can see that our leg is actually looking cool. Hooray. And with that, cue the music. See you next time.